Now, there are three things that you're rewarded for as a manager in our Career at a Glance or our matrix. Number one, you're rewarded for your own personal sales performance. And these are not only in priority order, but these are in level of compensation. You are rewarded most for your personal sales performance. Secondly, you were compensated for recruiting, and you're compensated equally, hear this, from you or from them. Whether that personal recruit on your personal staff is a personal recruit or it is a recruit from a recruit, you are compensated equally. This is a difference within our plan. Most plans will have, maybe consultants will get a small percentage, 2 or 3% of anybody they recruit. But then as a manager and your central team, your personal staff, you get 1% for people you personally recruit and a much lower percentage for people recruited from consultants on your team. Not the case with Alouette. You get the same compensation regardless of who recruits them. This is really important to understand because it's a way you maximize our compensation plan. And thirdly, you're compensated for promoting managers. Now, how does that happen and what does it look like? Well, we're going to show you an example of what it looks like to earn $75,000 to $100,000 within our plan, but understand those three behaviors and how you're compensated. Number one, your personal sales. As a manager, you make 35% on your personal sales and then receive your override based on where you're at in the matrix. That override can be anywhere from 5 as a manager in training to 16 at the very end of our matrix. That's a lot of money. In our example of the income you can earn, if you would like the opportunity to make $75,000 in annual income, and that's a great annual income, you can do that. With desire and with a willingness to learn, you don't need a college education. You don't need any previous experience. You just need those two things, desire and the willingness to learn. And this is how easy it is to achieve that. 3 things. Number one, sell $5,000 in a month personally. That's going to be your average, not just 1 month. Now, $5,000 divided by into shows, if you remember $400 is our show average, that's only about 12 shows a month. That is only 3 shows a week. That isn't full-time in terms of show business. And if you're doing 12 shows a month, you're selling $5,000 a month. Second, have a personal staff of 30 consultants. Now, while that may seem like a lot, it isn't a lot when you realize that's your own personal recruits and it's the recruits of your consultants. Now I want to ask you a question. Why would your consultants recruit? Why would they go out and get new recruits themselves, especially if they're not going to be a manager? Well, the answer may surprise you. It's not because they want to help you and build your team. It's because you are encouraging them to do that because that's how they make the most money. You know our career plan, consultants start at 25% and can move up to 30 or 35% with new recruits. And so you want to encourage them to recruit so they benefit the most from our business. If they're at 35%, they're making the most possible as a consultant when they go out and do a show. So when you think about that, you could have 10 recruits yourself, and you could have 10 of your consultants each getting 1 recruit because they want to move up in the plan, and that's 30 people that you've got. 30 consultants doing an average of only about $750 a week, or a month, really is achievable. And that's total staff sales of $22,500. Now, if you add your $5,000 personally and that $22,500 in personal staff sales together, that's $27,500 in personal staff sales. On our career plan, that puts you at an 11% bonus on your own personal sales and your personal staff sales. You remember I said there were 3 things you needed to do to make $75,000 a year? $5,000 in personal sales a month, a personal staff of 30, and 3 breakaway managers. These are 3 of your consultants who really had that desire to promote, who you share the very best thing that was given to them, the management opportunity. And if each one of them is doing just $10,000 a month in personal staff sales, that's an additional $30,000 in sales. Now, on that $27,500 you sold in your personal staff, you make 11%. That's an incredible bonus. And that override is $3,025 you get on your own personal staff. When you add that to your own personal profit, 35% of $5,000, $1,750, we're getting to a significant number. The other way you're compensated, remember your personal sales, your personal staff override, and your override on your breakaway managers, you will receive half of that commission, 5.5% override, on your 3 breakaway managers. So on that $30,000 in sales, that 5.5% is an additional $1,650 that you receive on your breakaways. Now, before we add this up and you see how easy it is to make $75,000 a year, I want to address something that you may be thinking. This may be your first experience in our matrix, our career plan, and you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, if they're in my personal staff, I get 11%, and if I promote them to manager, I get half as much. I only get 5.5% on them. Gosh, Tom, I have to ask you, why would I want to promote them to manager? That's a great question, and I want to share the answer with you. I do share the answer with you having a reference point of growing up in a business where when we promoted our managers, we got credit on them for 16 weeks, so their sales counted with us, and we've got commission on what they did for 16 weeks, 4 months, and after that, they were gone, and we made nothing, got no credit, got nothing. So I have a good reference point. And what I'll share with you is what a mentor told me long, long ago. That person said, every consultant you bring in the business as a manager will generally leave in 6 months. And they'll leave for one of 2 reasons. Number 1, because they got bored and ran out of shows and just leave the business. Or secondly, because you promoted them to manager. And the great news is, Tom, so the mentor said, you get to decide which way they leave. That was probably some of the greatest advice I ever got. And what I learned is, I made so much on them, and I didn't do it because of what I made, but I benefited so much as they worked to promote to manager. And once they promoted to manager, they stayed so much longer and were so much more productive as a manager that in the end, making half as much, or in our case, nothing, I still benefited so much from the retention and helping others achieve their goals that it was really the smartest thing I could do. You look at it on the surface and you say, gosh, make half as much? Why would I do that? In the end, it's the smartest thing you can do. They'll stay longer. You're helping others achieve their goal. And in the end, it still moves you up the career plan and you make more money. Now, take those 3 behaviors, 5,000 in personal sales, a staff of 30, and 3 breakaway managers, and add them together. What do you get? $1,750 in personal sales profit, $3,025 in override from your personal staff, and $1,650 in override from your breakaway managers. And that comes to $6,325 a month, $76,000 a year. Not bad at all for an entry-level job where you need no previous experience, no college education, nothing other than the desire and the willingness to learn. There is one behavior. Remember that career plan, how you maximize it? Personal sales, recruiting, your personal staff, and breakaway managers. You can change one thing. You can double your personal sales from $5,000 to $10,000. You may think, holy cow, that's a lot. Remember, we're a consumable. I would tell you you can do that without adding any shows, that you can do it by reworking your customer reorders. But do that simple thing, and do you know your income jumps from $76,000 annually to $100,000 annually by just changing that one little thing? By changing one behavior and doubling it, you sell $50,000 more in a year, you make $26,000 more in income. Pretty cool. Study our career plan. It is an incredible plan where you really can make great income and benefit greatly. Plan out how you want to achieve money. We have a plan that can reward you. We have the support, the training, and the leadership to help you achieve any goal that you want. We hope we see you in the Manager in Training program and beyond.